got a special video today, another viewer request. This has been...
We've got this request a lot.
We've gotten this request a lot. We are talking about bears today. Everything about bears.
Disclaimer.
Huge disclaimer.
Huge disclaimer here. We are not bear experts.
No.
We are not bear experts. I would ask that if you're really interested in, bear safety, there's a bunch of great channels out there. Do some research, look at other people's content as well.
Quick little bear biology here. The main thing you have to know about bears in terms of biology is that their sense of smell is their #1 sense, and it is like 30 times that of a dog. Also, in terms of physical attributes, bears are very fast.
Yeah.
They can run faster than you, they can climb trees faster than you, they're stronger than you, they're better than you in every physical attribute other than your mind. You're smarter than a bear, but they are smart. Also know that black bears especially, they'll do something called a bluff charge, or grizzlies do it too, where they'll run at you or towards you and then turn away at the last second. That's actually more common than it actually charging and attacking you. But during a bluff charge, just do not turn and run from it. But they will bluff charge.
Yeah, and actually, if you're interested in seeing one of those, check out Outdoor Adventures video in the Smokies.
He gets charged by one.
Yeah, he's got a bluff charge on video, so that was interesting.
That was scary.
Yeah.
F that. Let's briefly talk about black bears versus grizzly bears. Generally speaking, in terms of backpacking, the most amount of backpacking that gets done is in black bear country. Honestly, one of the biggest ways to differentiate between a black bear and a grizzly bear is geographic location, because you can't have black bears that are lighter colored. Black bears are generally in the eastern part of the United States and grizzly bears are in the western part of the United States. There's also a size differential from a biology standpoint, the hump on the back, so grizzly bears have a hump on their back. But you should know the difference between a black bear and a grizzly bear, because there are differences in how you're going to deal with a bear based on if it's a black bear or a grizzly bear. When dealing with these bears, by far the most dangerous encounter you can have with a bear, and actually with moose as well, and with a lot of creatures, with geese too, I'm dealing with that right now.
Canadian geese, oh my God.
A female bear and her cubs, everybody knows that, but if you see a female bear with her cubs, you get out of there as fast as possible.
Not run.
Don't run. Keep your don't turn your back to it, but you get out of there, whatever you have to do. That is by far the most dangerous situation with bears, and with a lot of animals is a mom and cub situation. Obviously, before you even encounter a bear, common sense, make a lot of noise, make sure bears know you're in the area. A grizzly bear is not afraid of you at all. No. But black bears, because they're smaller and they have because we hunted them a lot back in the day, they have a more of an inbred sense of fear of humans, but that is changing. So you have a better chance of intimidating and scaring off a black bear as you do as a grizzly bear. So the grizzly bear, play dead, use your pack. You're gonna have your pack on your back. Keep it on your back or swing it around your stomach. Don't take your pack off. You can use that as a shield against a bear. But just know, with a grizzly bear, play dead. With a black bear, don't necessarily play dead, but certainly don't run from it. So let's get to the point people probably care about. You see a bear, you're encountered by a bear. What do you do? So like we discussed earlier, the very first thing you want to do is stand your ground, do not run. Another thing with the bear is if you have any kids or small people, maybe Outdoor Adventures. Just kidding.
Maybe Jason's with you.
Just kidding. Seriously though, if you have tiny things with you, pets, kids, get them behind you, maybe hold them up off the ground. Obviously, if you get into a scenario where an animal is attacking you in a group of people, it's going after the smaller ones. So you've encountered a bear, you're standing your ground, you've got the little ones behind you. Obviously, you want to pull out your bear spray. We're going to assume in this situation you're carrying bear spray, because if you're in an area where there's tons of bears, it might be a good idea to carry bear spray. We'll talk more about bear spray later, but stand your ground, get your bear spray out. Not saying you need to deploy it, but have it ready. Make sure you carry your bear spray on your belt or somewhere you can easily assess it if it's in your pocket.
And then also, like, if you take off your pack for a break, make sure that
your bear spray is on you.
Make sure it's on you or very easily accessible.
Certainly if it starts getting within, 20, 30 feet, the range of a bear spray is about 30 feet. The vital thing to know with bear spray is depending on wind conditions, you need to be very careful, because the worst thing that'll happen is you deploy the bear spray and it blows back in your face. Bear spray is like mace, pepper spray, but it's a lot more powerful. So if that gets in your eyes, you're screwed. But know you got a range of about 30 feet, and if a bear is being aggressive and coming into 30 feet, just use the bear spray.
Yeah.
Just use it. But make sure you're not shooting into the wind so it comes back on you. So that's happened. You've used the bear spray. It didn't work. This is where, if it's a grizzly bear, you're gonna wanna play dead. If it's a black bear, attempt to stand your ground. Depending on how big you are and how big the bear is, you might kick, claw at its eyes, something like that. But other than standing your ground, using bear spray, fight back.
Make lots of noise, be intimidating.
Yeah. So in terms of if you actually are forced into a bear interaction, that's how you should handle it. But the vast majority of tips we're gonna give you is just avoiding that situation in general.
Yeah.
And all of this boils down to knowing that a bear's best sense is their sense of smell. And the reason they're gonna come to you vast majority of the time is because they're smelling your food. So we'll talk about bear bagging, but you might want to consider scent-proof bags.
Yeah, we use the lock sacks every once in a while.
We use lock sacks; those are good. Be smart. Don't wear nice smelling perfumes or deodorants. Don't rub bacon grease. I don't know, like,
don't put your empty peanut butter packets in your pants that you're going to sleep in.
That's a good tip. Just lock up as many scents as you can. And that's gonna go with everything from food to toiletries, toothpaste, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, pro tip, what we do when we're in black bear country is we take all of our stuff that has scent into it, so like our toothbrushes, our hand sanitizer, all of our stoves, everything, we put it in our food bag and that gets hung. Another thing that you can do is, don't eat where you're gonna sleep.
In grizzly territory, people will hike, eat, and then hike more to camp, and they'll even hang the clothes that they cooked their food in. So people go to like super extremes. That's probably in black bear country, unless you're like spilling bacon grease all over you, it might not be necessary. But
it is good practice.
It's good practice, and just know that backpacking in black bear country and backpacking in grizzly bear country is totally different in terms of how you're dealing with the bears there. People are a lot more conservative in grizzly country, although the black bear situation in the eastern part of the U.S. has gotten a lot worse over the last 5 to 10 years. When I started backpacking in 2004, first time I went backpacking was in the Smokies, and like bears were not an issue, but people keep feeding bears, and don't do that. Oh my God, don't feed bears. Our biggest defense against a black bear, is the fact that black bears are naturally afraid of humans, and that's because we hunted them for hundreds of years. So we've talked about basic bear biology. We've talked about how to deal with bears. We're gonna flip over and show you the best practices for hanging a bear bag, because that's a really important way to control your scents.
Yeah, so we use about 40 to 50 feet of bear line for our bear hangs. And then, as just a general rule of thumb, at least 100 feet away from your camp, that's where you want to start looking for areas to hang your bear bag. Minimum 100 feet. And just to keep it kind of high level, you want to keep obviously your bear bag away from the trunk of trees, around at least 20 to 30 feet up off the ground. There's a lot of cool different hangs that you can do. A real popular one is the PCT hang. A lot of videos out there on the PCT hang that makes it really easy. Or you can just, raise it up and tie it off, which is typically what we do. What about guns?
I'm going to talk about guns, yeah. I'm going to leave that in too. All right, let's briefly talk about guns, because that is something that gets brought up in regards to bears. Big preface,
yeah.
we're not anti-gun people at all, but...
Am I right in saying that the statistics are better, statistically right now, bear spray is more effective than firearms?
So, all right, here's my personal opinion on that. Yes, statistically, bear spray is better than firearms, but that can be a BS statistic because it's skewed so heavily because there are so many interactions of people with bears and bear spray, and there aren't that many with guns. Here's what I'll tell you. Bear spray is going to annoy a bear. It's not going to physically stop a bear. Here's the thing about guns. It takes a very, very large caliber, powerful gun to kill a bear. Probably not the caliber that you're carrying backpacking. The only time I would consider carrying a firearm with regards to bears is if Andy and I were in like the Canadian Rockies on a canoe trip and we could throw like a shotgun in a canoe or something. I don't know. That'd be the only thing. I mean, if you go to Alaska, or if you go somewhere where there's grizzly bears and you're with a guide, that guide's carrying a gun. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna poo-poo guns, but statistically speaking, and they don't make the most sense against bears, unless you're carrying like a muzzle loader or something.
I'm sure somebody will comment that there's a story about some guy capping a bear with a 22 or something.
No,
like that.
But there are stories of people capping grizzlies with 9mm, which is super impressive. But we're gonna say, just use bear spray, but know that a bear spray ain't gonna kill a bear. And if the bear really wants to eat you, this has happened. Like if a bear really wants to eat you, people have bear sprayed bears, and the bear is just like, I'm still gonna eat you.
Yeah, it's a huge controversial topic in the backpacking community. We personally don't feel the need to carry guns.
The vast majority of encounters where there's bears and bear spray involved, the bear spray does the job. So if I used to never consider carrying bear spray, like ever. I'm like, who cares? If I was going somewhere in the Smokies now where there's a lot of bears and a lot of problem bears, I would probably consider taking bear spray. All right, that wraps it up for our bear video here. We've talked about it. We've blabbered on about enough stuff we don't really know what we're talking about.
But what I would ask is, people that are educated about bears, please leave comments, because we get a lot of people that read the user comments for advice. And leave comments about your suggestions, leave links to places where you can get some great information so that people can educate
and
themselves.
We'll have some of those links in there.
Yeah.
So that's it. Thanks for watching. Let us know, Andy said it, yeah.
Flame on.
Flame
Jesus.
on. And we'll see you all in the next one.